Ladies and gentlemen, I am not easily impressed. Minyobia, as a obi impressing me simple, sir. But Nana Kwame Bediako, Charlie. Hey! Charlie, nigga, na impressing me. Hey! Who's it? On the 10th of October, by a flyer be babonte, or no akra can say, I may invite no say, or so, or my speech be what I say, as a keynote speaker, Africa's economic pillars to freedom. We are not a course or a program a course or United Kingdom, UK, Parliament, and as our Jumedi a course. Now, in this program, no, they were just looking at Africa. Quite a befaso Africa, and I said, be mine, a befan into my pa edifra. Na nyansa semwa, na Kwame Bediako cheddar, a prugu hono. Unia, ye bedo ni nyina masu kwa na matome boase, asa ye ni nyina transcripts, ye be koni nyina mu, na me maba akokra yirawo. Today when you be doing come back, subscribe to the channel, mama. Uya, now I like video no. Now I to boase boko, now watch your dream or comment section. And the two form boko ye kwani brew at the nanti. What I say, aha, ye ma be behind you. Now send my impressed, you know. Me sure say one so we are be impressed. Ain't you know? Yen shall say.
He's about to go now.
Ladies and gentlemen, Nana Kwame Bediako osaje for NKB. Cheddar ready. Akwana impress me. Hwe man invite ne ba ye na ono ankasa beka say he is privileged say obe addressing for UK Parliament no. That is the programmer na omo friend Africa's economic pillars to freedom. Na e buy na e bebre na free say settings what you say her boys in there na if say the agenda na unia just say settings bia because you have to about so anything for the cloud, anything for the numbers, but unia 10 fini do ye na ye say na de ne beko but 10 fini do ye no unia program no it was slated to be around 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. UK time. To Ghana had na 6 to 8 and a course so na Nana Kwame Bediako multi podium no and Oshase. Oshase apologize ye for the wrongs ye leaders omudi anim nyina ye. Owe no be kire say e kwan say ni na ye faswa e bibi man ye betumi enya ye fa hodie. And you know what baffles me is that in this case no hwe wa enya Ghana asem kra o eye Africa. How Africa?
Today, I stand before you as the rebirth of an incarnated spirit, feeling like a messenger, here to express regret for our mistakes. There are no better words for me to use than to say, I am sorry. I'm sorry for all our losses. I'm sorry that our currencies have lost the value. I'm sorry that our economy is collapsing. The time is now that we took responsibility for the mess we find ourselves in. We must break free from the cycle of dependency and exploitation. We must industrialize. This is my petition to the world. Many countries have benefited from the resources of our nations and should have contributed to our development. My petition calls for an end to foreign influence in our political narrative, but also requires an international commercial relationship, just like any other global economy. Why become importers when we can become exporters? Ladies and gentlemen, join me whilst I introduce to you these pillars. And I'd like to start with pillar 1, industrialization. We industrializing our mineral resources. Pillar 2, water, transportation, and the railway connectivity. We must dredge our water bodies that will enable the movement of goods, connecting inland regions to coastal ports in support of industrialization. Pillar 3, currency. The human resource is by far the strongest currency. You are the value. There's no value in any paper currency without you. If Africa is to rise, we need to make industrialization the centerpiece of our learning. In these 7 pillars lies the blueprint of Africa's transformation. What do you see as problem? I see it as opportunity. to reclaim and redeem our lost heritage values. We let the history tell the rest. Thank you.
Yes, so that is the video. That is the video. Nana Kwame Bediako NKB cheddar. Ah, jeez. Why we tell you feel saying? Who feel saying? Sometimes say I can be say emre bia ni nipa. It me you say, you know, this person is a leader, and there is a vast difference. When say how the cheddar mo compare ba umiamo ne mahama mono ne alan mono ne we mona utumu say Charlie difference wom gab wom, because even the ideology, how a nipa ne dwene, how a nipa no the strategy, Charlie. As to whether say nipa ni nya mandate na obey there all cano there and no you different. It is also a story for another day. But the same prem there say ye way policy by policy there by far nobody can be compared to cheddar. Honestly. Now, so after mounting the podium, no, these are the words cheddar ekanye, and we are breaking the words down. Tenebeya bibia betimi akoyi na betimi digest words no. Eyi what you say. Now I say today I stand before you as the rebirth of an incarnated spirit, feeling like a messenger, here to express regrets for our mistakes. So in this case, no, or say, Ojinaha, so be a yasaya wono fufro. What baby I said that name yasaya wono fufro. Na oba say osomafo na wababe idini njuma. Nemo no or express it to say okoni mu nyina no ama yehu niama bia yakwa yaya yanye ni yie yanu ye ho niama bebre ho nemo no words anase ensem bebre ni ho. There were no adjectives, in fact proper phrases, proper words bia ni ho a ebetimi ama ni nsem opese oka no obetimi aka nemo ni obetimi aka nyina ne se adabraka oye sorry. What I say? There are no better words for me to use than to say I am sorry. So apologizing on behalf of just say he is there to apologize on their behalf. Let's move on. So I'm sorry for all our losses. That is the first sorry. I'm sorry for all our losses. I'm sorry our currency has lost its value. I'm sorry that our economies is collapsing. So here we use economies because on your Africa, in your Ghana and Kwasem Noka, the whole Africa. What I say? That is why it's Africa's economic pillars to freedom. So the whole Africa. So I'm sorry that our economies is collapsing. Good. Now let's move on. The time is now that we took responsibility for the mess we find ourselves in. We must break free from the cycle of dependency and exploitation. We must industrialize, and this is my petition to the world. Now, so say Badrim baby akasa, say oye deep. Sometimes no, me hune say ebibre mu hangasa na ebibi man no. Ye nia I say debiano Niama esi etwam no yentumi mfa nto yachi rather no eno nso san boye esuye kom atiase ena etwe yesan ena still na no na yesan kram ye de nema bi yi ye ho no too much watiase bo ye leaders no na Russia Ukraine war na ya be catch say COVID-19 na so we always want to have something ye de blame no. What I say, if we are failing, our failures, no, I was saying you be the channel. Anti president na ya to abana mano so no so no. Ebe ka kire say, nia ya say mpeno na onhu nia masuntie yi na free so no. Wan money bre yi nti no bre no. So what I say. So he is here telling us, giving us a signal, say, look, it is enough. Okay, so if Africa want to move forward, what we have to do is that it is time that we take responsibility for the mess that we find ourselves in. The moment that Obejia Tum say, look, the harm has been caused, and I am a factor. I am also part of the reason why at the end, then it is where you start realizing, say, you need to find solutions. But say they be an say obi na ye there, you feel like you are innocent. So what I say. So that is, in fact, Ghana, ye brand ye how nyina no. Ya no nyina no. So now let's move on. We must break free from the cycle of dependency and exploitation. We must industrialize, and this is my petition to the world. So he used that podium, no, that platform now when you know, to send a petition to the Western world. And now, per ne petition, no, and as an insem na all can or say, Africa must industrialize. Africa must venture into industrialization, which I see say some people are doing it, some countries are doing it. The likes of Rwanda, Paul Kagame, or what you say, the likes of Burkina Faso. What I say, almost president, you know, the people, some African countries are doing it. They are seeing the essence. I was say, but I don't know why countries like Ghana, no. And on what I say. So he's saying, say, for Africa to progress, for Africa to move forward, no, we need to venture into industrialization, and that is the core. What I say, that is the core pillar. If indeed we want to build the nation. Now, from there, we need to break free from the cycle of dependency. Yes, okobo bosia. Na bosia no, wo de aba be ya ade na oba be ye no, en cheddar anko yie. Bosia ni ntumi ma untumi ende wo ho, like it can sustain your economy. Nti ukokwaje, so it will be like a cycle, a loop. We are in that loop. In this case, Ghana, we are in a loop. Ya kwaje bosiano. Nye de bosiana yen fam bosiana me bo bra this kabeba. Nye de akwakutua. Nye san ko bontu we na bosiano na e pile. And so you forever be indebted to them, and once you owe them, you can never be on your own. So you are forever a slave. Into we man penny pa, but okashria wanu enuyo. And they force nanka ombetimia force ma Kamala Harris aba Ghana ha aba be ye na be say or ba be try say or no be convince ye say ye gay ne lesbian into more Ghana ha. Who born dog like you can you know understand na me say or no as US who crowd US vice president, like how? Oh jeez. So let's move on. Yeah. And also exploitation, yes. So Africa has, since time immemorial, I say, practicals. Yes, we are like lab rats. Yes, Africa is like lab rats. Yeah, they are practicals. So if they want to check something, now be used to Hana say, yeah, practical zone. Be normally check into I'm far. Say yes, the thing is working. Yes, that. In fact, they are exploiting us. You better to say case study the high be say high end they are exploiting us. And he is saying, say, look, the time is up. Those things, you know, I was saying you're putting in to go. Need to me move forward. So that is it. Now the next one. He also said that many countries have benefited from the resources of our nations and should have contributed to our development. My petition calls for an end to foreign influence in our political narrative, but also requires an international commercial relationship just like any other global economy. Why become importer when we can become exporters? So yes, here he is just talking about how other countries have benefited greatly, immensely from countries in some certain countries in Africa. I was saying send out of the benefit and umunya free yen ye hono. I was saying mutumi eboa yen nanka yetumi ekwa yanim se aman. Nemo no countries ni nyina no be exploit ye wie benya ye gold ne ye diamond ne ye manganese ne ye bauxite ne aluminium ne ye yi ni nyina wie no. Then they leave us to be in the slums. So what you say? And so when that happens now, it looks as if say you have all the resources but you have nothing. Who is kapa? Who gold? Who be bia? But you don't have anything. Enti utisikaso na so kombedo. So what you say? So he also said, look, this petition, no, it calls for the Westerners, no, the Western world, and say, look, they should stay in their lane. And how they are meddling in the affairs of the political state in Ghana, no, look, it's not. So it's a petition. I watch them say, look, make them day them our own. Where we too, if we go day one a zone. What you say? Someone here, someone here be deal with us commercially. Some money African continent, you know, and as some money African countries, you know, deal. You guys should deal with us like send your money other European countries in the deal, you know. Send your money other booming economies, you know, deal, you know. Why is a mobile Africa? Then you want to deal with us in a certain type of way. As a more actually and say we boy. And he's saying, no, enough is enough. And this petition talks a lot about how they find their way in our political landscape, finding and sometimes just changing schemes and doing a whole lot of things. Shenanigans are a bit to me my election are in their favor. And saying, if we have our independence there, everything should be independent. Hence, your new relationship, you know, it has to be totally it has to be an international commercial relationship, just like any other global economy. So Africans shouldn't be treated in a different way, in a certain type of way. The piano, and my young choir, no mudili, or mopahami and mudili, the piano, the piano. So he also moved ahead to talk about, he said, why become an importer when we can become an exporter? I don't know the piano acquired to say Africa had your resources, no, but you to find your free. Instead of venturing into industrialization, you bet me my iron ore, no, yanka say bet to me at the iron nadia, na brofono so abe krebiakono, yen you. They don't have anything. All they have, no, is the machines a bit done your natural resources na yen ye wona ye de koma omo no more than into finished goods. So why don't we also make finished goods? In any case, cocoa, you want in abundance here. So if you to me add chocolate, cocoa no chocolate, we have a finished product. Since we have a finished product, you bet me a tonko chocolate no add their baby international market. And no bema we scarce say wo ton cocoa no nko ade ama omo no, wo ton seed no de ama omo. And no ye nyansa. What you say? And no ye adwene. So why should you be content with the fact that you are an importer? We importing yamaba, but you don't want to strive hard. You don't want to push forward. You don't want to push yourself to the point that once over to me, I finished product. Ebema once when your opportunity say once over to me, I export on yamako nanko for beto, and that is the message. Now he also said, ladies and gentlemen. So at this point, he was introducing his pillars. So, ladies and gentlemen, join me as I introduce to you these pillars. And now, one, industrialization. So, he talked about how industrialization can transform the African continent. What I say Africans, say yanka say to me say we are venturing into industrialization. How it can help us. Now, pillar 2 no, and obeka water transport. Pillar 2 no, and obeka water transportation and railway connectivity. Water transportation and railway connectivity. Yes, so in this pillar, no, or how we can connect our water no, to our lands. What I say, how we can transport. Say to me, connect in suno, edema ya sats no, which is our land, ne, your ports, ne, harbors, na, your wano, your connect, your member channels, necessarily need to me connect here. At the end of the day, no, transportation is simple. Moving or goods carriage, very, very simple. What I say, no crowd, no cost, no, very, very minimal. So yes, that is it. And also talked about the third pillar, which has to do with currency. Now he also said, a lot of people see currency to be, legal tender, paper legal tender. Be not just look. The highest currency on Mibia can boast of human resources. What you say? It is a human resources. Don't worry. there are always ways and means ubetimi e dey revamp your currency ama currency no etimi ababijina ne nan so okay a whole lot of things, but these are the three things or stress it also be. Now he also talked about in conclusion he says in these 7 pillars, so he talked about the 7 negotiables if you have been following cheddar for some time you know say after the 12 pillars or the 7 negotiables be by, and these are the 7 negotiables so he says in these 7 pillars lies the blueprint to Africa's transformation. Yes, so he said with this 7 pillars now look, that is the surest way, that is the sure bet to Africa's transformation, whether we like it or yes. And that is it. With the Nyansa Bia when they say, yeah, it is the way. Because we'll be aware anymore Africa Biano is using one way or the other some of these pillars, and it's working very well in the African continent. So in conclusion, he said, what you see as problems, I see it as opportunity to reclaim our lost heritage values. We let the history tell the rest. What you see as a problem, I see it as opportunity. And that is the hallmark of a leader. That is the hallmark of a leader. Obia, who problems are, who say, kai, problem with you between your sika free. Yet ha, anka ye visionary leaders and I say, ye leaders are, sabi abru sebe nyado, oma dwene abobel, onim nyansa nim dia. Nkombe unsa COVID-19 was a turning point for the African continent. COVID-19 could have been a turning point for Ghana. When everyone, in fact, Obia economy crashed to the extent that people were just, in fact, COVID-19, Emma Ghana ha, na kind of saying, idea the sanitizer, near sanitizer wa ha adonko Dr. Kwekwatin no yes sanitizer, no individuals be no more sanitizer COVID-19 man yanka say nose mask. COVID-19 taught us say we can be self-reliant, we can be on ourselves, we can be on our own. COVID try mu dey bi. Na even kra neman pa yan in mu dey na ban the try say or standardize no ama yen so yetumi kra de bi akwa other people say they are any twam on be hu ni say Ghana so yeah we are also there. Yeah no opportunity ne ba enye dia yen ye de betumi e dia amelke from the western no baby dia yan kase de bebu ye ho yan de bebu ye ho o man panini siso COVID. Okay, COVID. Oh, yeah, more free water. Na free water ni twam ni etwi omo di be the whole 2 years na kan yen fanya hwe ni aka che omo say COVID-19 ni ntia. Omo we no be complain ya ni aka che say ye ma nsuo ni kan free no. Na o say sika ni nya free hin. Ope wabu. Enti se Ghana ni se Africa president bi aka che so chawade free forget it. No, the amount free new year, the next 2, 3, 4 years in a day. Oh, boy, we had the one here. Yes, so ladies and gentlemen, that is the visionary person. In fact, I am so impressed with how like, jeez, this guy knows sense. This guy, Charlie. I don't know why up till now some people still doubt say maybe Bimo still sees him to be, you know, as a settings no yeah. But look, what they emphasis say a settings, what they emphasis say we Ghananews yemfama na hwade. After all, it's not as if say bia wo de mama hama no abeyi bibia ma. And it's not even as if say de mama omia no ba obesesa bibia. Look, Unia, so mami would outdrink or comment section I say. What I say? We more can be brana or boy food. Upon
Any J a futu asanesem Nina Hefani Behono, a dynamic TV plus. Okucha so me more the phone de Uruda. Subscribe and share. Never comment, brass. Said ye bay be who dear wope, now so who dear medeba. Adriana Yaduma, Nipediano bre, and Tenasima reho, and you almost so. Emma Conquansan small will be fee abra or subscribe Dynamic TV Plus and Cabinet Bibi Papa. Don't forget, Sadrina Yaduma, Nipediano bre.